I'm Dana Denha, and you're watching FYI. The Guild of Artists and Artisans opens doors for creators across mediums to live their authentic self through the arts. In order for this nonprofit to provide these opportunities throughout the year, they need our support.
We are here at the Guild of Artists and Artisans fundraiser. We are raising money for the nonprofit and to support artists.
For those of us like myself who rely on juried art fairs to be able to market our work product, which is our fine art and craft, the Guild's events are priceless.
So we put on anywhere between 6 and 9 art fairs a year. And we also have the Gutman Gallery, which is in downtown Ann Arbor, another facet of the Guild and place where artists can sell their work and people of the community can come in and learn more about arts and culture and purchase art. This year's theme is Travel the World of Art. So we have different stations throughout the whole fundraiser.
Just having people come through and take a look at different demos that folks are doing. Got people drawing, people painting, I'm doing photography.
Join us in the future at one of our events, either in the Gutman Gallery or one of our art fairs.
For more, visit theguild.org. Stay tuned, and we'll be back with more in exactly 30 seconds. The city is home to more than 160 parks with scenic views, places to play, and some top-notch facilities. See all that Arbor Oaks Park has during this Park Peek.
Welcome to Arbor Oaks Park, a hidden gem in southeast Ann Arbor's Bryant, Arbor Oaks, and Stony Brook neighborhoods. This beautiful park has something for everyone. A basketball court, a playground, open fields, and a short paved loop that's perfect for walking, running, or rolling. 5 connecting paths link the park to different corners of the neighborhood, making it easy to explore and enjoy. One of these paths leads directly to Bryant Elementary School. A few minutes east on West Eden takes you to the Bryant Community Center, a true neighborhood hub. Street parking is available right on Champaign Drive, where you'll also find the main entrance and a convenient bike rack for cyclists. Arbor Oak Park is also home to a series of rain gardens, designed to naturally manage stormwater and support native plants. Seasonal prescribed burns help keep this ecosystem healthy and thriving. Whether you're here to play, relax, or connect with neighbors, Arbor Oaks Park is a place where community and nature come together. So come explore Arbor Oaks Park, your green space in the heart of Ann Arbor. For more information about this park and other city parks, visit a2gov.org/parks.
We know fresh, clean air can boost respiratory health, and poor air quality can have the opposite impact. The Ann Arbor Office of Sustainability and Innovation has a program to get the latest updates on the quality of our air. Learn about the Air Quality Dashboard in this month's City Roundup.
Hi, I'm Sean Reynolds, a senior analyst with the Office of Sustainability and Innovations. I'm excited to share that the city, in collaboration with Clarity Movement, now operates an air quality dashboard that displays the Air Quality Index, or AQI, at each of 10 air quality monitors that we have installed across the city. The AQI is the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency's official reporting metric for air quality. There are 6 levels of AQI, with level 1 representing good air quality and level 6 representing hazardous air quality. Using our dashboard, I encourage you to sign up for email alerts whenever your AQI reaches level 4 or higher. According to the EPA, this is the AQI level at which some members of the general public may start to experience health effects. For those who are considered sensitive groups, such as children, adults over the age of 65, and people with respiratory diseases such as asthma, these health effects may occur starting at AQI level 3. You can find our AQI dashboard, more information, and a link to a more detailed dashboard with graphs of individual pollutant levels at a2gov.org/air quality. This work helps to build the resilience of our community and is a part of the city's A20 plan to achieve community-wide carbon neutrality by 2030.
Since 1976, the Ann Arbor Observer has been telling the stories of the people, places, and vibrant culture that define our community. This free monthly magazine distributes more than 50,000 copies, offering residents insight into every facet of life in the city, the county, and beyond. Recently, there's been some exciting changes at this beloved local publication. Joining me is Brooke Black, the new editor-in-chief at the Ann Arbor Observer. Welcome to the show, Brooke.
Oh, thanks so much.
Tell us a little bit about yourself. I read your article that you put out about being the new editor-in-chief and a little bit about you, but I'd like you to tell us in your own words, how you ended up here in Ann Arbor at the Ann Arbor Observer and like what led you there.
Yeah, well, I guess starting from the beginning, I grew up in Vermont, in a small town, went to college in Atlanta, and graduated right in the middle of the Great Recession. I had a job making more money than either of my parents. I had a car, I had a nice apartment, all the things that are supposed to make you happy, and I wasn't happy. So after a couple of years of that, I quit my job, sold my car, moved into a cheaper apartment, and went to grad school where I studied cultural anthropology purely because I thought it was interesting. And my research focus was the culture of long-haul truck drivers in the United States. As part of my research, I got a commercial driver's license and drove an 18-wheeler around the country by myself for a summer. And prior to that, I was the kind of person who would cry or try to blame people if something went wrong or like get someone else to fix it for me. But that experience really taught me that I can and should count on myself. And it also gave me the confidence to travel. So after grad school, I did the Peace Corps in Malawi. After 2.5 years there, I thru hiked the Appalachian Trail, a footpath that goes from Georgia to Maine. It took me 6 months. And then I just worked service jobs to get to where I wanted to go. I was a waitress in Ithaca, New York. I was a housekeeper in Denali. I folded laundry in Philadelphia for a summer for $7 an hour under the table. And I got into the U.S. Antarctic program. I did 4 seasons with them. My first, I was a lunch lady. Then I learned how to operate heavy machinery. And so I worked in the frozen food warehouse for 6 months. That was cold. And then I also used a front end loader to load military aircraft. And I've rode a bicycle across the country in 2018, which was my first encounter with Ann Arbor. I came to Michigan specifically because I had heard Detroit was sketchy and I was scared to go there, but I figured I'm not going to let my fears dictate what I don't do. So I'm going to dive right in head first. And I fell in love with Detroit. And then I came through Ann Arbor and I was like, oh, this is a charming place. Didn't really think too much about it. Flash forward 5 years later, my fiance and I are looking for something to do. And he had some GI Bill benefits that he needed to use. So he decided he wanted to be a wind turbine technician, a mechanic on windmills. And there's a school in St. Louis that he could have gone to and a school in Canton. And I was like, oh my God, Michigan, let's do it. Let's go live in Detroit. And then while I was here, sorry, this is kind of a long story, but while I was here, I had written a book about riding my bike across the country. It's called Lucky. And I had tried to get it published, but nobody was interested because I didn't have a platform. So I was like, okay, let's get a platform going. And I reached out to all of the publications in the Ann Arbor area. John liked my stuff. He gave me a chance. And then it kind of snowballed from there. So yeah, the way that we found ourselves here was kind of this long, circuitous, like a little bit of luck, following my intuition. And I'm really grateful for this opportunity.
Wow, you have a lot of guts. And I'm sure at the beginning you didn't feel like that, but you like I love when someone overcomes fears of things and because it just makes you a better person. It makes you understand things better. And I also love that you've had so many jobs because I think that someone in the media can really understand. I mean, you're telling personal stories at the Ann Arbor Observer. You're telling stories of people and their different lives and things. And you've lived almost like, from what you're telling me, like many lives.
Yeah. Um, yeah, I definitely, when I talk to people for stories, I try to be empathetic and put myself in their shoes and kind of, think like, what is it like to do what it is that you do? And yeah, so it's definitely been helpful to have a wide range of experiences to draw on.
Well, we've heard recently, obviously, the Ann Arbor Observer is now going to be an entity of the Ann Arbor District Library. But from what I've heard, that's not really going to change much of anything at the Ann Arbor Observer. It's just going to have a home.
Well, at this point, it's still a proposal. It's not a done deal. They're trying to figure out how to make it work. So, I think they're hoping to finalize it within the next few months, but it still remains to be seen. But when the library proposed buying the Observer, John Hilton and Patricia Garcia, the former editor-in-chief
Hmm.
and publisher, were really interested in it because the library just wanted to preserve the Observer as what it is, allow it to continue providing independent journalism to the community. Um, and yeah, and that was really attractive to me. Like, I certainly wouldn't be interested in working for a magazine that was like controlled by some non-community entity.
Oh, I could totally agree. And I think that there's something really special about the way the library holds our history. If you want to know about the history of this area, the Ann Arbor District Library is your resource. And if they're holding the history of the Observer currently, with or without having the rights to it, right? That you can go to the library and you can go back and look at the Observer's history, probably all the way back to the 70s.
Yeah.
So that's actually really cool to think about that sort of partnership happening. When you came to Ann Arbor and you started working for the Observer, why did you think it was sort of like a priceless community entity? Because you've been around a lot of places. And I'm sure you've read a lot of publications, and not everyone has like a community publication like this.
That's absolutely true. And every time, so for example, after my husband graduated from his program, we spent a year and a half traveling around the American heartland, and he would fix broken windmills, and I would explore Spencer, Iowa, or Watertown, South Dakota, or the Quad Cities. And there was never anything like The Observer. You might find like a little passion project, like 6-page long local newspaper, and that was still important, but it wasn't. I mean, The Observer's so special. Like, you look at the cover, and it's like every month, here is an original work of art that celebrates our town, and not just in like a fancy, like, oh, this is like there's no like Instagram filter. Like, you'll have a cover of road construction,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
or like there'll be, the sort of like beautiful detritus of like real life, and it's captured in this beautiful artistic way on the cover. And then you open it up, and it's these thoughtful, investigative, curious, compassionate stories about the community, giving people a voice, giving people a platform, amplifying solutions. It's such a special thing. And I really credit the founders, Mary and Don Hunt, but also, I mean, just the editorial vision of John Hilton over the last, nearly 40 years that he's been working for the Observer.
It's amazing. Tell me, who does the covers? How are those covers made?
Oh, we have a roster of artists that we draw on. We have some that have contributed quite a few, but I actually have been reaching out to new artists because one of the things that I really want to do is create a more diverse array of contributors, writers, and artists, because I just feel like, I mean, we love our current contributors. They are so loyal, they are amazing. But like Ann Arbor has so many voices. Let's invite more voices to the chorus and see what kind of harmonies arise. So I'm really excited about next month's cover. Look forward to it.
Oh, I can't wait to see it. I love when the Observer comes to my mailbox. So we actually save them and we put them on sets on CTN. So like that you can see the
Oh,
Observer on like the Ward Talk set, which
oh,
is like the
cool.
city council show. So it's actually we love it here. at our house. So,
Oh,
and those covers are so special. I completely agree with you. I mean, when you look at them, you don't always think like, oh, someone's actually making this. You think it might be a filter or something like that, but it's not. It's a real person.
yeah. Yeah, and I mean, when you think about it, how many opportunities are there? I mean, I know that there are lots of opportunities for artists, but it's like this is one more where it's an opportunity for an artist to reach 53,000 people. Even
Hmm.
if, someone never opens the Observer, they're going to see that cover, and that's exposure, and that's really important for artists.
No, you're right though. There isn't always that avenue. I mean, you can make art all you want, but you don't know if anyone's going to see it or not.
Hmm.
Um, can you talk about, you worked your way up to this point. What were you doing before this at the Observer to get to this editor-in-chief point, and how does it feel?
I started off, John gave me a My Town assignment to write about a man who was a cyclist who he was tragically struck and killed by a driver who was on drugs at the time while he was doing a long bike ride for charity. And it was a really deeply moving story to write. And I also wrote it in like 3 days. So I took it so seriously. I like lived and breathed that story. And John liked what he read. So then he assigned me two features, and one of them was complete crap. It was so bad. It was so clear that did not know what I was doing, but he was really, really kind and compassionate. And the other feature turned out okay. And then he sort of guided it into publishable quality, and I learned. And then he just kept giving me more story opportunities. And then the deputy editor position came up, and deputy editor is technically second in command. It's sort of, I like to think of it as, I don't know if you've ever had the opportunity to talk to John Hilton, but
I have not
oh,
actually.
he's the most amazing person. He is a genius. He is a walking encyclopedia of Ann Arbor, and he is just up here. And it was my job to kind of take his brilliance and translate it into spreadsheets so that everybody else could understand it. And it was such a privileged position because it meant that I got the opportunity to like just talk to him and email with him and get to know him and his ideas. And then, yeah, just kind of coordinate for him. Take care of like the little like
Yeah.
minutia that can like slow you down when you're existing in that, mental imaginative world. So,
Mhm.
and then as a result too, I saw like different things that I was like, oh, I think we can do this a little more efficiently. Oh, like we don't need to get in touch with our web development team for this. I can do it. And gradually just took on more responsibility. And I think he saw that and appreciated it. And then yeah, offered me the job, but I was traveling at the time, and then he said, no, you can't have it unless you live here. And then, flash forward a year and a half, my husband and I are realizing we're kind of sick of living out of hotel rooms in Spencer, Iowa and Watertown,
Eh,
South Dakota. So we bought our house in Ypsi, and I've been officially editor-in-chief now for a month and a week, five
well,
weeks. Oh my God.
welcome. Welcome.
Yeah.
I want to just go back to that story you mentioned. Who was that? But is that Ed Erickson, the bike rider you were talking about? That's my
Yeah.
neighbor. So that story
Really?
actually really hit close to home. Like I knew him. He lived right. I still his wife still lives here. She's my good friend. So like mentioning that story and the coverage of it was so important. I really do believe that like he was doing something so good. It was like a make-a-wish thing. And
Yeah.
and he was promoting it and trying to make all this money for these kids, and then something so terrible happened, leaving his wife and his two pretty young children too. So yeah, I think what you did, I think that you did a service to that story, and I think it was a story that needed to be told to the community.
Yeah, I'm really grateful that I had that opportunity. And yeah, he sounded like he was a really good person.
Yeah. So what do you have like, I know you're talking to me about bringing in, maybe new contributors and stuff. That's actually really exciting. You mentioned like obviously there's people out there and you have contributors currently, but to put that word out and say the Ann Arbor Observer is looking for people to contribute, I think that would really get people excited to be a part of it.
Yeah, no, and we've had like quite a bit of excitement. We've had professional writers who are interested in like covering, in like a journalistic sense, but then also just people who are passionate about something reaching out and saying like, can I write about this? And it's like, yeah, let's figure out a way to like make sure that everybody can be included, you know? But yeah, and then um, I'm also really interested in like introducing some new content that could help draw in a wider audience. I love reading. I love like a long, in-depth story, but I know that that's because I'm a word person, and there are some people who are more like images. So, okay, how can we bring them in? So, I've worked on, cultivating new comics that like speak to people who maybe like they're just more visual, and that can also tell stories about Ann Arbor. I'm working with this really, really talented artist slash writer slash genius who wants to do art meets history of like minor landmarks in Ann Arbor. And I'm like, this is so cool. Like, yes, more of this. We have an advice columnist who I found her because she and someone else were like saying, "Oh yeah, the Observer." They were on Reddit and they were like, "Oh, the Observer could like really use like X, Y, and Z. Maybe we should start a new publication." And I was like, "Oh no, well, maybe you should just write for us." So, and she's incredible. She's just such a powerful person. And then I'm also investigating creating a crossword puzzle. Apparently, there's a vibrant, I mean, apparently, I've talked to them. There's a vibrant community of cruciverbalists here in Ann Arbor. And it's like, we could have like our own bespoke, like Ann Arbor themed crossword puzzle that's so nerdy, but like also what place would appreciate it more?
Oh, so totally. I mean, the bicentennial was last year, and they had this long quiz of all of this Ann Arbor history, and I swear people were really into that quiz. Me personally, I looked at it and I was like, I don't know enough about Ann Arbor, I guess.
But yeah, I mean, you look at like the Ann Arbor District Library summer game, people get into that kind of thing here. And that's something that's so special about Ann Arbor is that it's this place where it's weird. It's kind of crunchy. Like people here, I think really, by and large, like want to try to do the right thing. And yeah, it's got this like weird, quirky vibe. Yet at the same time, it's also a tech hub in the Midwest and like trying to grow into something bigger. And it's also got this world-class university here. And so you've got like the ideas and you have like a local government that like aims for the highest possible good. Like I've disagreed with people about this. This is my own personal bias, but I think it's so cool that the Ann Arbor government is like, let's aim for zero traffic deaths or fatalities. And like they know, you're probably not going to get there, but if you're going to aim for something, why not aim for the best possible outcome? Like, let's have zero waste goals. Like, that's going to
Yeah,
take,
that carbon neutrality goal. I mean, nobody else
yes.
is doing that. And it's such a
Yeah.
lofty goal, but they're committed to it. I agree with you 100%. I lived not far from here, but the mentality of that city compared to this one is a world of difference. I couldn't go back to living somewhere else like that closed off community that I came from because I now have experienced a community where they do care so much about the environment and the people that live here and every facet of life, really.
What's so cool about it too is it's like a small enough town that like an individual can start something and, like build momentum around it.
Hmm.
But because of the university, and because of like I think our proximity to Detroit, like it's kind of it's kind of like we can be an example for other cities.
Hmm.
I don't know. I mean, that's a great responsibility, I think. But also, just I don't know, such a cool place to be able to live and kind of witness all of this, and then try to amplify people who are trying to do these really lofty things.
What is John Hilton's relationship with the Observer now? Is he still working there? Is he trying to step away? I mean, 40 years is a long career.
So he and Patricia still own it, and he helps me out with editorial stuff still. If I have I don't know, like a story that I think that like he would be better equipped. Although, I am editing everything now, and I do have my deputy editor, the amazing Amy Somerton, who is helping out with editorial things as well. But I also just ask him for his advice. And one of the cool things is like last night, for example, uh, I asked him if he would weigh in on something, and he disagreed with how I handled it. And I was like, thank you for sharing that. I think I'm gonna go with what I wanted to do. Like because he trusted me. He trusted me to take over
Yeah,
this position, and so I owe it to him to trust myself to
agreed.
follow. Yeah.
One day
So
he's not going to be there to lean on, right? Maybe he's going to go
exactly.
on vacation or he's going to move away, or you never know what's going to happen with somebody, right? So
Yeah.
at some point, I mean, really, now it is you. It's on your
Yeah.
shoulders.
Yeah. So, but yeah, he's there to help when needed and to offer advice when asked, and I really
Nice.
appreciate that.
Well, we're almost out of time, but if you want to tell people, for those that don't get the publication to their house, or why, if they do get it, let's say you're getting it, but you're not opening it up, why open it up and read it every month?
Interesting stories artfully told. Um, and surprising, quirky stories that you're not going to find anywhere else. The events calendar is like no one else does anything even close to what we do with our events calendar. And it's so fun to just like open up something tangibly and like, I don't know, sit around and like, circle things. Ask your husband, like, hey, you want to go to this like old English dance thing on Thursday night? Our I Spy and our fake ad are so fun. Like the fake ad's always funny. Jay is a genius. Like throw that word around a lot, but I mean it. Yeah, and then even our advertisements are a snapshot of our town and they're all locally rooted and again, like we'll give you ideas for how you can just be in the community.
No, you're so right. I mean, you don't have to sell me on it. I assume we maybe have to sell other people. I don't know. I think people read it, but you never know. You know what I mean? You never know. You always question things like, "Oh, how many people are reading it?" Because
Yeah.
you get mail, but I actually think it's really cool to have that tangible mail.
Hmm.
Not like junk mail or anything, but like to get that magazine and actually like hold that magazine in my hands. I'm not the biggest fan of reading on a screen as much. So to actually be able to read it in my hands feels so much better to me. I'm a person that will hold a book to read it, not a Kindle. So like that, I agree with you there. I think it's amazing to have it. And it's just such a beautiful resource to the community that everyone should take advantage of it. If you're new here, get the mag.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Brooke, for being on the show. It was really a lovely conversation.
Thank you. Thank you so much for this opportunity.
For more on this and other programs, visit a2gov.org/CTN. Visit youtube.com/CTN Ann Arbor to see all that we have to offer. And remember to like, subscribe, and ring that notification. Thanks for watching and tune in next time to FYI.